Ladies and gentlemen, we are now under a week away from Call of Duty Next, and with that, things have been coming through the grapevine, and what I mean by that is we have been getting leaks. Yesterday, we had a little bit of information come out in regards to Warzone Mobile, which actually somehow made things even more confusing, but other than that, we have also had some leaks regarding Warzone 2. Now, as we know, during Call of Duty Next, we're going to see Warzone Mobile, we're going to see Warzone 2, we're going to see Modern Warfare 2, multiplayer, hopefully DMZ, and we can kind of get a better idea of what is to come. But for today, we're going to go over all of those leaks in regards to Warzone Mobile and specifically Warzone 2, because that's personally what I find a little bit more interesting, but they definitely tie together, and that is what we're going to kind of explore through this video. The things that we're going to talk about with Warzone Mobile are absolutely pretty much confirmed, whereas the things that we're going to talk about Warzone 2 wise are just leaks, and we'll get to those in a minute and I'll explain where they're coming from. But as far as this goes, let me dive into what came yesterday. So yesterday, GameSpot had an interview where they were doing a mobile game showcase, and at the very end of it, they started talking about Warzone Mobile. In it, this is the video that we got to see closer towards the end, and essentially what it is the C-130 coming in, and then we see the Warzone Mobile logo. But what people noticed is this was the same infill sequence that we saw in the original Warzone on Verdansk. So as far as this went, people started to assume that when Warzone Mobile comes out, it is going to be on Verdansk. And in fact, there's actually a little bit more evidence to support this, which let's dive into that first before I somewhat debunk this. So this is the official Warzone Mobile Twitter account. Previous to this, they had an image showing people dropping into Verdansk. They quickly removed that and replaced it with the image that you are seeing here. As far as this image goes, you can actually see Stadium in the bottom right-hand corner, the C-130 flying in, and some roads which very much look like Verdansk to once again support that theory. They then have the Warzone Mobile picture and a couple of tweets going out, but yes, this is the official account. Now, as far as this goes, what we learned through the GameSpot interview, which you are seeing here, is that one, there's going to be 120 players on the map in Warzone Mobile, and it's going to be cross progression. So people who are playing on mobile will not be playing against people on PC and on console. However, your progression from Warzone Mobile will carry over into Warzone 2, Modern Warfare 2, things along those lines, which is important because as far as this goes, it means that there is going to be some crossover between the two games, and I wouldn't expect Warzone 2 to be taking place on Verdansk whatsoever, so that kind of eliminates that idea. But the fact that they are showing Stadium and showing this, it could technically mean that Warzone Mobile has a different map, let's say Verdansk, than Warzone 2 does at launch, which is super interesting. Nothing to support either direction as of right now, but that's all of the information that we have. So the next leaks that we have are interesting. They come from a guy named Metaphor on Twitter. He didn't say what his sources were, and he's not really known for his leaks, so we really have to take what he's saying with a grain of salt. And in fact, some of the things that he's saying, I've heard contrary from some of the developers themselves, which I can actually talk about. But the first tweet we have here is Warzone 2 update. NPCs are in the map randomly. From what I heard, they're not random. They are at specific locations on the map, strongholds as we've been calling them, and they were kind of protecting loot on various areas of the map. So not so much randomly. Container-based looting as well as floor loot. This is to be expected. This is like Warzone now. Different sized backpacks, aka storage spaces. So this is one leak that we talked about much earlier. Backpacks were to be found on the map, and the bigger your backpack, the more you can hold, the more you can carry, the more grenades you can hold, the more ammo you can hold, the more weapons you can hold, so on and so forth. He also says that there is new contracts. No surprise there. Helicopter from High Rise is usable. So yeah, this was one of the things that we talked about when the original trailer came out. Hidden in that trailer was an overview of High Rise, which is to be rumored to be one of the locations on the Warzone 2 map. The next thing is very interesting. There is no more toxic gas coming into the map, but now instead of toxic gas, it is to be a dust storm. We saw something like this. I believe it was in the original Modern Warfare 2. It might have been Modern Warfare 3. And then as far as that went, basically it was a campaign mission. But if a basically sandstorm was moving into the map, I think this would look very cool. I don't know if gas mask would still be the thing that we used or not, but it's definitely interesting nonetheless. And the last thing he says, tires can be shot out from cars. So this is something that was confirmed by the developers to be in all the different modes, DMZ, campaign, multiplayer, and of course Warzone 2. You can shoot out tires, you can shoot doors off of vehicles, things along those lines. A very cool aspect to be added to the game. We're going to dive more into that in a second. So a lot of that stuff is already confirmed to be in the game. The big question I have with that is the sandstorms or dust storms instead of toxic gas. So the next tweet, this is the second of 4 tweets. He says, shooting out of cars is 100% accurate, even solo. So that means that you shoot like normal, I would assume, out of cars. I don't think it'd be 100% accurate as the car is moving, but hey, that's what he says. After this, we see slide canceling won't be in the beta, but they have the option to turn it on and off, probably waiting for a community reaction. So essentially what that means is that in the beta, there will be no slide canceling. This is what we saw when we saw the game previously. When we talked to the developers about it, they essentially said that they wanted it out of the game as it was a bug, but again, things can change in development. So I guess that's technically true. I would be very surprised if they quote unquote turned it on after the beta, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. They say next that cars have limited fuel, 2 minutes with a question mark, automatic refuel and repair gas stations when you enter by driving near them. So essentially to fix your car or gas up your car, you have to drive near a gas station. There's no word as of yet if you can run to a gas station, get gas, and then fuel up a vehicle. We don't know. I also don't know whether this will be for helicopters and things like that as well. Basically impossible to say at this time, but yeah, that's something that they talked about when we were at Infinity Ward, is that cars will be able to be destroyed. You can repair them, you can blow out tires, you can fix the tires, you can refuel them with gas. So yeah, that matches up with what we've been told. So some more talk about vehicles. This is where we really have to start to take things with a grain of salt. Plenty of new vehicles. The only returning one is the ATV from what he has seen. There's a new Hummer type SUV tank. There's also a hatchback, which is a weak/fast civilian car, and their choppers look different. We also saw this in game, and they talked about this where you could actually stand up in helicopters and shoot out of them. They would kind of hover in place, which is a pretty cool addition. After this, we have at least 3 new contracts. Can't tell what they are. Recon and bounties are returning. So is most wanted. So 3 new types of contracts. Don't know what they are. And then the final tweet is no news on a rebirth type map. Was told another map is already being developed for Big BR. So in other words, a new Big BR map, which is strange. The next point is there's a new CQ contract that looks something like a safe. I don't know what you can take away from that. And then finally, the Modern City POI, aka Downtown, literally looks like a section of the GTA map. It's extremely detailed and looks amazing. So I guess that's good. They put a lot of detail into it, and that'll be one of the main sections of the map, like we saw with Downtown and Verdansk. So again, I would take this with a very large grain of salt. There is no source that he has sourced for these leaks or anything like that, but a lot of what he is saying is lined up with things that we already know. The thing that I find most interesting is definitely the dust storm or sandstorm coming in instead of gas. That would be interesting story-wise and how it plays in the game, or gas masks in the game, things along those lines. I'm very interested to see what that's all about, but essentially that's all we know as of right now. Those are all of the leaks. We kind of touched on all the points. I'm curious what you guys think of all of these things, whether they sound good to you, whether they sound bad to you. Let me know down in the comments, and of course, if you enjoyed the video, it's always appreciated if you hit that like button, and make sure you're subscribed to stay up to date on everything Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, I guess Warzone Mobile we'd be talking about too. But that's everything we know for now. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.
We are